Whew, I just can't stop scrolling the pictures, because it looks so 2D. What kind of sorcery is this? Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven with your weekly figure news fix. This time around 18th to 23rd of November 2024. And for this week, we have a moderate amount of figures to discuss on both sides. Though in my personal opinion, the third party side is a little bit more interesting if I have to compare the two. And also it is time for some Phat Company bashing again later on. Alright, without further ado, let's move on to the genuine figures making use of Hobby Link Japan, HLJ, our affiliate partner for genuine scale figures, and we shall go through the scale figures I've selected as usual. The first one here, well, normally I start from the biggest scale and then I slowly move down to the smaller ones, and lastly the budget figures. And on paper, the numbers, right? 2x1 scale is bigger than 1x4. Even though this is probably the size of a 1x7 scale. Okay, so by Kotobukiya, we have a 2x1 scale Asura Aoi Sui from Megami Device at 26,000 yen, June release next year. Quite expensive for the standards of Kotobukiya, I know, but this is top 3 my favorite scale figure this week for the genuine side. Like, oh, plop, 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 get pregnant. That backside over there. This is incredible sculpting coming from Kotobukiya. And Kotobukiya, I never doubt them. Sometimes I am not a fan of the way they paint their anime figures, but that is mostly subjective. Some of you do not mind their lack of shading in some of their figures, as long it means cheaper figures. But for this Megami Device figure over here, I do spot quite a good amount of shading throughout the figure. The swimsuit, on her skin tone, her body as well. So I think all is good at 26,000 yen. I do wish this is a little bit cheaper. I mean, we are looking at a swimsuit figure, but with some mecha parts. But I can't complain too much because I like the figure a lot. Yeah. So this figure comes as highly recommended. Moving on to the next one, we have 1x4 scale Kazami Mizuho Bunny version from Police Teacher at 1x4 scale by freeing 35,000 yen, releasing in June next year. We have two figures that are from old classic anime. How old is Police Teacher? At least 15 years old, I think. It was from the 2000s, late 2000s, I think. And I think in early 2010s, there was another anime which feels like a spin-off of Police Teacher. Feels like, I don't even remember the title anymore, but I did watch it back in college. Will I get one? No, not my kind of figure, not my kind of character either. 35k feels a little bit expensive for, a series that is old and probably something that nobody cares other than the semi-boomers, half-boomers, people who are my age or older than me. They will be interested in this thing. Maybe freeing once their money because, they are rich working adults by then. And they have progressed the career to a certain level where, they are senior managers or something, given their age group. So, yeah, they want your money. Okay, the next figure over here, also from a classic bastard heavy metal dark fantasy, we have Sean Ari Bunny version at 33,000 yen, 1x4 scale, March release next year. You see, this is the weird thing. Freeing has a figure on pre-order, and the one previously that Kazami Mizuho, I think was May release, right? A June release. You see, two figures going on pre-order on the same day, but one is June release, the other is March release. Why is it that the case? My best guess over here is that there are several production lines within a factory by a company, and each production line, they have their own teams, right? And it really depends on their backlog. Team A is responsible for this number of figures, Team B this number of figures, and maybe some teams are ahead of the others in terms of their progress. So yeah, it really depends on how they allocate their backlog. That's what I'm guessing over here, and it probably applies to all figure companies out there. That is how they function. Will I get one? Once again, nope. Big nope. Not my kind of thing. Okay, moving on to the next one over here. This is a re-release by Lackery. 1/5 skill Eden's Ritter, Grand ZX, Fallen Sword Astaroth. 34,000 yen at 1/5 is okay. And Lackery, they don't make many figures. Most of the figures they make are edgy stuff, including this one. They're customable. And yeah, the ranking I would give Lackery is around B- or even C+. They are just average to below average, right? Though my opinion on this brand might be a little bit outdated because the last time I've came into contact or I've seen an actual Lackery figure in person was many years ago. Yeah, they don't make many things to begin with, and most of the time, the biggest opportunity for me to see figures by brands that I've never gotten my hands on, it is exhibits, exhibits, right? Exhibitions, which is something you see in some anime conventions. We used to have it in Malaysia many years ago. The last time we had one was back in year 2018. Yeah, Animangaki, we actually have a huge, a giant figure exhibit. And the problem is we have people in the community, in the figure community, which they refuse to cooperate with everyone else. Everything has to be money to them. Oh, if you invite me to display my figures in an event, you need to pay me each figure how many dollars. And the amount will snowball a lot, even though that is supposed to be something voluntary, supposed to be a non-profit thing, but there are people who put money above everything else. So that is what we get, and in the end, the figures exhibit is no more, which is very unfortunate. Okay, while Lackery is average, right, as a figure company, it is not like you have many other options for this specific character. If you like the character, then you pick one up because there are no other choices, yeah. And the fact that she is getting a re-release means that she is popular enough. Yeah, there is enough demand to justify a re-release. Moving on to the next one over here. This is just a quick mention. Now we go down to 1/6 scale. I covered this figure last week. Yeah, Sakuba Sister by Limland, Chinese brand. Last week, I mentioned that it was weird because the way the character was being designed, it looks like the kind of figure that will have a castable feature. But that figure, this figure that went on pre-order last week, the regular version, she could not be casted off, just a normal safe figure. So I thought it was weird. Apparently, there is a castable version. They call it special edition for another 3,000 yen, which is worth it. Standard was 18k. Special edition 21,500. It is really worth it. So if you pre-ordered the standard version last week, cancel it, get this one. Just another 3,000 yen plus. So the special version went on pre-order a couple of days later after the standard version went on pre-order, which was really weird. I don't know why, but that was what happened. Moving on to the next 1/6 scale. This is by Freeing 1/6 Ryu Hoshizaki Mimosa original figure series. Original characters, right? And for an original character, 25k is a little bit high, a little bit. May release next year. Though I do like the character design, this is not your ordinary bunny suit. There are some nice details on it. Some fluffy, some fluffy thing in the middle. What's that called again? Yeah, something that looks freely with buttons on it. So you get a little bit of extra detail. I like that. So, character design, I like it. Outfit design, yes. Pose, I love it as well. I like this pose over here. No complaints. Just that the price is a little bit high, but maybe I'm just nitpicking because it is Freeing, right? Sometimes I can be a bit unfair. If you like the character design, by all means, go ahead and pre-order it. Moving on to the next one. This is also top 3 favorite figure of mine this week, together with that first Kotobukiya figure earlier. From Reverse 1999 Soneto by Apex Toys, 21,000 yen, January release, and that is year 2026, by the way. I'm not too surprised, because Apex Toys, it feels like they have been announcing way too many figures in figure events, be it One Fest or any other event. They announced too many stuff, and it feels like, the backlog is extending. They really need to be careful with this, because I do not want such a highly regarded company to fail in quality control simply because they are being overwhelmed by the amount of figures they need to make All of it are completely their own doing. Yeah. This is incredible. There are no other ways to put it. From the base to that stand holding music scores and the main figure itself. Nicely painted. I love the shading on the hair. I don't even know what is Reverse 1999, but my best guess over here, it is another mobile game. Am I right? Mobile or PlayStation game. I'm the kind of person who buys figures based on whether I like the character design or not. I don't have to know anything about the character. Do I like this one? Yes. Can put this next to Miyazono Kaori from Your Line in April, except one of them is already dead. Yeah, I recommend it if you like the character a lot. I certainly do. Moving on to the next one, 1/7 scale, the Idolmaster Cinderella Girl's Pretty Liar, Kaede Takagaki. Oh, 27,000 yen is so expensive. By Wave Corporation, May release next year. How is this worth 27k? Yeah, maybe she is wearing something really branded. Her dress is expensive. 27k this is going into the territory of Alter figures in pricing, and even Alter is not that great in QC anymore nowadays. Still good, but not as great as before. Oh wow, the other one, I forgot her name, but I nearly bought one of her scale figures back then. I like the blue one next to her, but they are meant to be a set. You know, this is without Japanese 10% tax. This is a 30,000 yen figure when you think about it. That is really expensive. Wave Corporation, I don't really doubt their quality. Their figures are quite fine actually. Since the olden days of Beach Queens, right? Their swimsuit series of figures, their low budget ones which they no longer make 10 years ago, and now their figures are still relatively okay. But this is very expensive. I wonder if it is the licensing cost again being the main culprit. Moving on to the next one over here, more from Apex Toys, 1/7 scale DJ Max Respect 5. Racing L fail. So she failed in racing, maybe she crashed too often, so she is now a race queen instead of the one behind the wheels. 21,600 yen coming out in May next year. This is not very detailed compared to that Soneto figure earlier. I mean, this picture tells you a lot. But this is also dependent on the character design. Sometimes you can't blame the company for making a figure that is slightly less detailed because the character looks like that. At this price point, 21k, can't really complain. And also her pair over here from DJ Max Respect 5 as well, Racing L Clear. So if her name is Racing L Clear, the other one should be Racing L Blurry, right? Why is that Racing L Fail? Okay, which one do I like better? I like the yellow one a little bit more. I mean, oh, so flat. I think the face, the hair, the twin tail hair, everything, I like that a little bit more. I like her color scheme a little bit more, but in terms of the pose, this is better. Yeah. Though I already have a Racing Miku figure, which is of a similar pose, holding an umbrella. Is it an umbrella? No, she's not holding an umbrella, but she is sitting on a stash of tires, right? Is that version 2020? I think so. Alright, this is also 21,600 yen coming out in May as well. Let me guess, right? Because I know nothing about these characters. This must be something similar to a Vocaloid or YouTuber because she looks like Miku a bit but different color. If I'm wrong, yeah, let me know in the comments below. Moving on to the next one here, Yuzuki Choco made costume version from Hololive at 1/7 scale by Kotobukiya, 25,000 yen, June release next year. I think Koto figures are becoming expensive simply because part of the problem is the weakening Japanese yen. Like, even against my country's own currency, which isn't particularly a strong currency to begin with, the yen exchange rate is extremely favorable even to us, and a lot of people are traveling to Japan right now. Yeah. So inevitably, they need to increase their prices a little bit. I think anything that is not Art FX series will cost 25,000 yen average nowadays. Yeah, this 25k, the figure earlier, 26k. And I really appreciate Kotobukiya for giving us an entirely new figure compared to the version that came out before. There was another Yuzuki Choco figure, right, by Koto as well, that came out a year and a half ago. And I prefer this newer version a lot more. Part of it is me preferring the pose and the setup. This is very diorama friendly, very photographer friendly. Maybe that is part of the reason, but this looks really good. If you love Hololive, yes, pick one up. Okay, so speaking of painting, where I mentioned Kotobukiya does not shade their figure much, we do get shading on the hair over here. See the very edges of her fringes in front. There is some shading, and obviously the twin tails, but yeah, the black color regions are plain black. And from the looks of it, the white color regions, I think this is shadow from lighting. This isn't painting, this isn't shading. So yeah, I don't expect to see much shading on her outfit. There is some of it on her wings, on her horns, and the hair. But this is not bad. This is acceptable. Moving on to the next one here, a re-release of Shell Tier Blood Fallen from Overlord by Kaitendo, 20,000 yen at 1/7 scale, may release next year. I remember this one very well. I think this came out like a year ago. I'm just guessing, but it came out quite a while ago. And as you can see, look at that gyat. You can't see anything because of a dress. Not a very detailed figure, but obviously this is popular enough to get a re-release because there are not many Shell Tier scale figures to begin with, even though Kaitendo is an average to below average figure company. At 1/7, 20k is not too expensive, right? So it is not a bad idea to get one if you love Shell Tier. Okay, and moving on to the next one, I am going to discuss about this figure for quite a little bit. I have posted it on YouTube over here as a post in the past. From BNHA, we have Himiko Toga, 2-dimensional version by Belfine. Unfortunately, a 1/8 instead of 1/7. For 17,400 yen, August, release next year. Now, what's incredible is that I have gone through the pictures a while ago, and regardless of which angle you're looking at this figure from, every single angle, she looks perfectly 2D, even though it is a 3D object. And for a company which I don't have many nice words for, Belfine, this is incredible. And my advice to Belfine as a figure company, I think it is a good idea to differentiate their products, their figures from other brands by making all of their figures in future in this kind of paintwork, because no one else is doing it, right? It gives people an extra reason to buy one. This is something special. Of course, in future, there might be a new company or two or an existing one deciding to copy what Belfine did, but I can't even say they're copying Belfine either, because third-party resin figure companies have been doing this for a while. Like, there are a lot of 2D painting style on Dragon Ball resin statues, for example, right? This is nothing new. Just that it is very new in the world of licensed PVC figures, and I certainly do recommend Belfine to continue doing this on more figures. This is probably the first Belfine figure in over a year that has made me feel impressed about it. Yeah. I'm not a fan of BNHA. I'm not a fan of anything that is shonen most of the time. But I would love to give this one a go. I mean, I'll wait until after release. If I have some extra cash lying around, I might pick one up. Yeah, plastic rod. Unfortunate but necessary in this case, right? The figure is leaning forward and you can't rely on foot pegs alone in this case. Oh, I just can't stop scrolling the pictures, because it looks so 2D. What kind of sorcery is this? Back then, in the very same post I made on YouTube, I asked, why aren't there any genuine figure companies doing this kind of paintwork? And one of you gave me a very good answer. It is not easy to mass produce. Maybe Belfine does not sell that many figures to begin with, so they can give something like this a try, or maybe they have figured out a way to mass produce a paintwork like this, because this isn't something you can just use an airbrush and spray it like that, Those shading, like the shadows underneath her shirt over here, they have to be hand painted. Maybe with masking you can make use of airbrush to some extent, but I think for this kind of painting, only the base layer you can use airbrush, but the finishing touches on the shadows you need to hand brush, you need to hand paint everything. So for figures that make and sell so many figures like Kotobukiya or Good Smile, maybe it is impossible for them to mass produce figures this way. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one over here. We have more re-releases from Pokemon. We have Gloria with Sobel by Kotobukiya, 14,000 yen. May release next year. And also Victor with Score Bunny, same price, June release next year. Pokemon is evergreen stuff, so yeah, there will always be a certain amount of interest for these figures. Moving on to the next one, Cthulhu, how to pronounce that? Cthulhu 2. I'm not good with tongue twisters because I'm an Asian, you see. Just like how the Japanese pronounce R as L. Okay, Nekopuru Pajama Party by Apex Toys, kind of like a chibi figure. 13,000 yen coming out in June next year. Looks very detailed, right? I mean, look at the heavy shading paintwork on the hair and the tentacles, I suppose. This looks impressively detailed. I like it a lot. I mean, I don't collect stuff like this, but this is a very nice display piece, right? You know, some employers, they don't allow the employees to put all this, how do I describe it? They don't allow the employees to display stuff at their work desk, but if your boss allows you to do that, I mean, then this is a nice display piece on the work desk. Maybe on top of a PC, yeah. Very nice. Moving on to the next one here, low cost scale figure by Infinity Studio. Yeah, their SSR figure product line. Awakening Whitehead Chan. No name again for original characters. 10,500 yen, that should be around 399 Chinese yuan. May release next year. Okay, so you know the Yura Yoga figure, which I have I've done a video on in my figure haul video a couple of weeks ago. The review was supposed to be published on Thursday or Friday, but when I saw the Nendo box, the new Nendo box video having some amount of traction, I decided to postpone it to this coming week. Like, I want to let that video, you know, coast along. I mean, if one video is doing well, then I upload one video less for the week so that, you know, I can extend my content. Like, I don't have to rush out so many videos in a short amount of time. So yeah, that yoga figure is coming this week, and that will be my first figure review of this brand, Infinity Studio and SSR figure. Moving on, oh, hold on a second, back to this figure. Can I recommend it? Well, I think it is okay. It is an okay purchase if you like the character design. I mean, in the end, even though this is more expensive than a Bear Panda 1x7 scale, 7,000, 8,000 yen, it is still cheap compared to Japanese brands. So if you like the character design, go on and get one. If anything, this reminds me of Kasugano Sora from Yosugano Sora. Yeah, whatever she's wearing, it feels like she stole it from Kasugano Sora's closet. Moving on to the next one, the last two figures on HLJ are pop-up rates. Last, from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, 4,000 yen, coming out in June next year. Kind of meh, right? Plain black. I can also paint this myself. Just that there are no other figures of her, I think. I don't recall any. Yeah, you only have this pop-up rate. And the last one here, Belef Mail from Fire Emblem Three Houses, Good Smile Company. Oh, I'm surprised Intelligent Systems is not involved. I think they are the holder of the rights to this franchise. June release next year for 5,000 yen. This is a way more detailed figure than that last figure earlier, so I'm not too surprised. This is another 1,000 yen. That sword looks fabulous. I hope that they can retain the paintwork and the detail all the way in the final figure, in the final release. Okay, now we shall stop by Ami for some Phat Company bashing. Okay, the first two figures over here, they are Ami exclusives. We have Chiaki Nanami 1x8 scale by Phat Company, almost 20,000 yen, releasing in July 2025. This is actually a re-release of a relatively old figure, right? This came out in like 2015 or so. And the second one, okay, yeah, this one. Okay, so we have Kyoko Kirigiri at 1/8 scale by Phat Company as well, Ami exclusive, and a re-release, 19,000 yen, coming out in July next year. You guys know that I own this figure. I've never reviewed it on this channel. I will make a video on her sometime in the near future, but I won't be able to give her a fair review because I bring the figure outdoors and photograph it somewhere, putting her on all kinds of surfaces, and I might have scratched the figure by now. I don't know if I have damaged the figure in any way. I don't think I did, but there is always a possibility. So I won't be able to review her fairly. But this is one of very few figures by Phat Company which I really liked and I still own even today. This Kyoko figure, yes, but I do not have this Nanami Chiaki figure. I did not buy one. Okay, so this is these two figures, right? They were quite outstanding for Phat Company's standards back then. I don't remember what year Nanami came out, but Kirigiri Kyoko came out in around year 2012 or 2013. At least 10 years old. And back then, this figure was released at around 12,000 yen, including taxes, right? So this big price jump over here, I think they are just adjusting the pricing according to inflation. 10 years is a long time, so this isn't too expensive for a 1/8 scale figure with all those props and the base, the school desk, monokuma and everything. My problem for today on why I want to bash Phat Company so much, yeah, exclusivity. Both of these figures, when they came out so many years ago, they were regular releases that anyone can buy anywhere from any Japanese site they prefer. But 8 years, 10 years later, they decide to re-release an old figure and label it as an Ami exclusive. I think that is such a dick move if you were to ask me. It feels like Phat Company is a little bit, I don't know, a little bit desperate. That is the only reason I can think of why would we release something so old and make it exclusive just to artificially inflate the value a little bit, like the sentiment. Inexperienced figure collectors will see, oh, this is limited, I need to quickly pre-order it, But I mean, exclusive means nothing compared to native online shop exclusive, right? Not all exclusives are equal. So this is a dick move from Phat Company. There's no other way I can describe it. Should you get it? I mean, if you don't mind shopping from Ami or Ami is your favorite store, by all means go ahead and pre-order it. Because 20k, 19k, 20k is not really that expensive given what you're getting over here. Whether the quality will be as good as the release back in like 10 years ago, that remains to be seen, obviously. Moving up next, Kadokawa and KD Call, right? Their figures usually appear late in HLJ, usually a week later. So this is not an exclusive or anything. From gushing over Magical Girls, where I wanted to celebrate that it is getting a season 2, but Kadokawa might be purchased by Sony, and that is one big middle finger from me. For a Japanese company, Sony is very westernized. It is heavily influenced by preferences from gamers, from animation fans in the western side of the planet, in the US and so on. So, our biggest fear, not just mine, our biggest fear, if Kadokawa falls into the hands of Sony, then we are going to face a lot of censorship in future. Yeah. I'm so speechless. I don't even know what else to say. I guess we might as well enjoy it while it lasts and pray that the sale does not happen. Because Sony is such a big monopoly in a bad way. They already own Aniplex and now they want to get their hands on Kadokawa. And in case you guys are unaware of, I hate Sony a lot as a brand. It does not matter whether it is their entertainment division or their camera division. Like a lot of you who are interested in figure photography, you ask me about Sony cameras, I still recommend them if that is what you prefer, but as a brand, Sony brand, I hate them so much because of their monopoly and their dirty tactics they are using online against us content creators, which in case you guys are unaware of, Sony Entertainment likes to go after people on YouTube and Facebook. False, fake copyright infringement claims. Even my own sister, she is a piano teacher, by the way, and she knows how to compose her own music, her own tracks, right? She is at that level. She can compose music on her own. And for anything that she composes on her own, even if she uploads it to Facebook or YouTube, she always gets false copyright claims from Sony. It is always Sony. And then, of course, the claim will eventually be overturned, but the very fact that it happens alone it shouldn't be happening in the first place, right? So Sony is behaving in a way very similar to Disney, for example. And a lot of the other ugly things they do, it is very hard to like Sony. Yeah. Okay, I know I have gone off track a little bit, but the name Kadokawa came up. I just need to talk about Kadokawa and the potential sale to Sony, which I don't like. Okay, now back to this figure over here. Leopard Special Package Edition by Kadokawa, almost 25,000 yen, where you get a tapestry and a second faceplate, which is the one you're looking on screen over here. This is the better faceplate actually. And the standard version over here, she is having a normal smile face without her teeth clenching like that. So it is a little bit inferior, right? Which is such a shame, and I think Kadokawa is doing it on purpose to convince you to get the exclusive version, and I am going to fall for the bait this time around. You win, Kadokawa. Between the two, I will tell you guys to get the exclusive version. I'm not a merch collector, I don't care about the tapestry, but the face expression over there, this is the one I prefer. So, no choice, paying extra 5,000 yen for this one. And as for whether I can recommend this, a big yes, yeah. I mean, the only way to show Japan, right, that we support ecchi content, I mean, it is mature content for us adults, it is not meant for children, and the only way to tell the industry that we want ecchi stuff is to support it by buying the stuff like these figures over here. Yeah, the pink color hair girl, what's her name again? That Madoka clone, right? She is wearing almost nothing. That one's by Alice Glint. Yeah, go and buy it. Even if your parents don't approve of it. Tell the Japan that we support these kind of things. Yeah. Moving on to the next figure. Okay, this is by a new Chinese figure brand called Kawa Design. We saw this in One Fest as well. Hitomio 16 Selfie Girl. Yeah, original art. 1x6 scale. This is the deluxe edition going for 7,100 yen. Standard version is 5,800 yen. Okay, so the difference is you are getting an extra prop in the background. Yeah, that sink over there with the mirror, the sink and mirror set, you're getting that, but not the wall, not the door on the side, right? Just getting that sink behind her. I'll show you guys the pictures over here. Yeah, including this mirror, this furniture over here, and I would highly suggest you get them. Yeah, this one. I would highly suggest you get the deluxe version. It is only an additional 2,000 yen unless you have space issues, you don't have space to display figures that take up too much space, then yes, you'll go for the standard version. But for everyone else, I would say just pick up the full package over here. And once again, as a figure photography, this is really to my liking. I like it a lot. Will I get one? I'll wait until after release maybe, because she is so cheap and not much reasons to say no. Yeah. And once again, this is not yet available in HLJ, maybe next week. Alright, moving on to the next one, another new Chinese figure brand. I think this is their second or third figure on pre-order. None of them has been released yet. Inoue Iris illustrated by Alios Arvin, 1x6 scale by Supernova, 7,500 yen, coming out in September next year. I've seen this face so many times, man. The good old office lady MILF face. There are even 1x4 scales of her. Yeah, maybe the same artist. This one, I don't like it that much because it looks a little bit generic, especially the pose. But the one earlier, the selfie girl, is very nice. Otherwise, nothing much wrong with the figure or the pricing over here. Moving on to the next one, we have a 1x4 scale binding creator's opinion, Lisa 1x4 scale. No, not that Lisa that sang the opening of Demon Slayer, obviously. 43,000 yen, June release next year. And obviously, I don't need to scroll through the pictures and you guys already know with this brand binding, the figure is customable. As for character design, a little bit too plain to my liking. Though nobody can reject the idea of getting the opportunity to NTR your married colleague. Yeah, this looks like that colleague at your workplace after work, and then you both of you are up to a hanky-panky after all of your other colleagues and your boss has left the office. Okay, moving on to the next one here. The last 3 figures on Ami Ami are in their adult content section. Though this one looks fairly normal on the surface because, yeah, the abnormal parts are the cast-off mechanism, obviously. So coming from Pure, a relatively high-end edgy figure brand from China, Taimanin RPGX, again, very nice. In Great Beach Empress version, at 28,000 yen at 1x6 scale, it is kind of expensive, but we are not really into overpriced territory yet. This could have been more than 30k, really. And coming out in May next year, for big fans of Taimanin RPG, go for it! Pure is a very good figure brand, yes. And I like this figure a lot, despite the simplicity. It is not easy to make me like swimsuit figures, you see, because they are way too common. They are dime a dozen, just like bunny figures, but this one, for some reason, I like it a lot. Must be the color scheme, because the pink and the brown, yeah, her skin tone, they go so well together. Nice color scheme. And the choice of white color for her swimsuit instead of black or even pink. Perfect choice, more color contrast, yeah. And moving up next, the last figure on Ami Ami this week, Tamano Kedama Lulumu again. Oh, this is Kuromu. Kuromu, right? It's Kuro, right? I told you guys earlier, the Japanese pronounce R as L. This is Kuromu, I think, not Kuromu. But anyways, 30,000 yen for 1x6 scale, and moreover so a lolly character, man. This is expensive. Coming from Bishop Rondo, May release next year. And the one thing I hate so much with what Ami Ami did over here is that they might have received the promotion material from the figure brand with larger sized images, and they did not bother to crop in the image so that we can see the figure a little bit closer before, before pre-ordering it, right? Like we want to see the details further up close, and they uploaded tiny images on the website. If I were to right click and open the image in a new tab, this is all I get. Like what the heck? And the close-up images of her face, they are all casted off pictures, which I can't even put on screen anyway, so what the heck? Bishop Rondo as a brand so far, based on pictures of the figures they make I've seen on MFC, they are not exactly at the level of Native or Rocket Boy, Hot Venus and so on, but they're still pricing this thing so high. At the same time, why not? Why not price it high? Because Tamano Kedama is printing cash with his or her, I don't know the gender, with his or her Kuromu and Lulumu figures out there. So many of them. And people will just keep snatching them up because they like the character design so much. So maybe it is a good idea to price it so high, right? And it is not like we are getting 2 entire figures, I don't think so. The dress looks like it can be casted off from the side over here. It is not like you're getting 2 entire figures, one with clothes on, one without. Okay, so that is all for figures on Ami Ami. A quick stop at Ninning Game for all these, Be Full Inside figures. We don't have any Forts Japan figures this week. So coming from inside, we have Yuzuha, Akemi-san 1x6 scale. 19,000 yen, and also at 1x4 scale as usual, 29k. And this is, that library committee member doing it at the back of the corner of the library where nobody frequents. You see it in H anime a lot. Okay, moving on to the next one over here. Okay, Exorcist Luca 1/6 scale by Insight 19k for the standard, no, for the 1/6 and 29k for the 1/4 scale. So yes, Shota with a big cannon down there between his legs. This is a guy, it is a pretty boy, a bishonen, but I am censoring his nips because of gender equality. If we are supposed to censor TDs on the internet, then we are supposed to be doing the same to the male ones, not only the female ones. If we guys are allowed to show our TDs on screen without any repercussions, then I am demanding all of the internet to let us publish, opie pictures without any censorship. You can't have it both ways, man, because of gender equality. Okay, moving on to the next one here. Chibi Cat Girl Minueta. This is the Hadaka version, 19k at 1/6 scale and also 29k at 1/4. This is nothing special, just a cat girl with no clothes on, and for those of you who are lolly enthusiasts, just like me. Okay, and that is all for genuine figures on pre-order this week. Now we shall move on to the third-party section, making use of OSGK, which is our affiliate partner for the third-party resin figure section. And some of you, I've seen comments from you guys saying that even if I were to buy one, I don't know how to paint it. So let me clarify it. Every single figure on OSGK, they are all pre-painted figures. They are resin figures. They are garage kits in a way, but they are completed figures. They are already painted. You just need to put the parts together, like the arms, the legs, and so on, like a puzzle. Yeah. Okay. As usual, we'll get over with Anya first. 3 of them this week from Bio Studio. We have school uniform Anya Forger. $114. Wow, expensive. That is expensive. September 2025 release, and apparently she got 100% score in her exams. That will never happen. Nope. Okay, nothing special. Not really worth the asking price. Moving on to the next one. Same comments, nothing special. Another Anya again. $102 by Waku Waku Studio, coming out in June 2025. But the third Anya over here is probably the most interesting one. From BBSD Studio, we have Mario Anya crossover. This is more expensive, $130, because they know that fans of Mario, they probably have really deep pockets. And fans of Mario, Smash Bros, and so on, they are very enthusiastic people. Yeah, they love the game so much, and maybe they'll buy something like this. Yeah, I can see this one selling. Moving on to the next one, we have 3 figures from One Piece, I think, 3 of them. The first 2 are Shirahoshi, Princess Shirahoshi, the mermaid, from A Plus Studio. This is not the A Plus we know from the genuine figure brand that makes edgy figures. A completely different brand over here. $96 coming out in September. This is GB figure, and it looks a little bit, I don't even know how to describe it. It looks a little bit odd to me for some reason. Yeah, I think I know why. So, Nendoroid figures, right? Nendoroids, they tend to look a little bit childlike. I mean, with the body proportions and the face and so on. This feels like the head of an adult stuck in the body of a child. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. This is so much better looking, right? I mean, this is a younger looking face, and that matches the body proportions over here. This is a bit weird to me. So the next one here, once again, Princess Shirahoshi by YZ Studio, $88, June release next year. 15 cm is okay. It's okay for $88. Okay, moving on to the third one over here from One Piece by Dressing Studio. We have Cheongsam, or Chinese Dress Boa Hancock, $116, coming out, no release date yet. Generic Chinese dress figure, right? So this character, Boa Hancock, way too many choices, and this is difficult to recommend when you can just grab a figure of her in her signature purple dress, the long dress, and with that serpent behind her, right? Like $250 maybe, but those figures are way nicer purchases. Moving on to the next one from Rising Sun Studio, we have Ai Haibara. From Detective Conan, yep, $96 at 1/6 scale, coming out, no release date yet. One of those classics that I'm not really a big fan of. But at the same time, I don't exactly dislike, this mystery or crime investigation anime. I used to watch this shonen anime. One of the rare exceptions that I actually watch. What was the name again? I can't recall the title right now, but the main character, he likes to say, "I swear on my grandpa." Yeah. Okay. Okay, moving on to the next one here from Naruto, we have Conan. This is by UFO Society Studio. $159 at 1/6 scale, coming out in June 2025. See, once again, I don't know much about Naruto. Initially, I'm not sure if this was male or female, but a closer look, this is a girl. Okay, and she's quite a pretty one. Alright, the reason why I don't recognize the character or know her that much is because I don't remember seeing any genuine licensed figures of this character coming from Mega House. Yeah. For $160, a resin figure like this with a relatively nice base, not much to complain. Yeah, this is an okay looking figure. Moving on to the next one, 1/3 scale, man. $543 buys you a 1/3 scale 2B from Nier Automata by QKST Studio. It is good value, and there is LED inside. This looks amazing. Coming out in September. So look at this here. Oh, they must have stolen this idea from Iron Man. Does not matter. This looks insanely beautiful. Oh, this whole thing must be 1/3 scale would be, yes, around 60 centimeters, I think. Can hear. Oh, this is massive. Man, this is such a bargain. Not the most detailed 2B figure, but I like it a lot. Oh, very nice. Moving on to the next one, the main highlight in the third party section of this week. I actually made a post 2 days ago because I was so impressed that I need to mention it early. So coming from Prism Studio, we have a 1/4 scale Violet Evergarden. Everything you're getting in this picture over here for $543, coming out in September 2025. In my subjective opinion, Hera Studio has lost. I have been recommending you guys Hera Studios 1/4 scale Violet because that is hands down the best looking Violet Evergarden figure so far by the third parties. Not just by third parties, by everyone, including the genuine one that Solarin just announced in One Fest recently. That is still the best looking one up until this point, where this might be the new queen of Violet Evergarden figures. Maybe I am favoring this one a little bit more than the Hera Studio version now, because I am a big fan of immense amounts of detail. This is my kind of thing. Unfortunately, I'm too poor, otherwise I would absolutely get one. This is so nice. The only issue right now is that whether Prism Studio will deliver what is being promised in this picture, and if they do, this is a contender for the best ever Violet Evergarden figure. Yeah, literally best ever. Free Ink, I really wish that Free Ink won't be so lazy. Give us something like this in 1/4 scale, and even if it was 80,000, 90,000 yen, 100,000 yen even, everything in this figure we are looking at over here at under 100k yen, I think people will buy it as long they don't mess up the quality control. Yeah, I mean, just Bunny suit is just, it feels low effort, right? This is what I want to see coming from genuine figure brands, but I think that they are unwilling to do it because they are not sure whether it will sell or not. It is going to get really expensive. And most Japanese companies, I mean their culture in general, the work culture, the business culture in Japan, they prefer to play it safe. Yeah. So they are not the kind to take risk. So that is why until today we haven't seen 1/4 scale figures like this in the form of PVC and ABS coming from Japanese companies. Highly recommended for now, but yeah, maybe we should go online, right? Reddit, Discord, and so on, and check out if there are any pictures of figures by Prism Studio released so far, and if they look good, then go ahead and pre-order this one. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, this is 1/6 scale Violet Evergarden by Huixiang Studio. Huixiang Studio, their figures are a little bit on the lower budget end, but even at $180, this feels a little bit expensive because, yeah, sitting pose figures are not very big, and This feels underwhelming when she comes right up next to the one earlier by Prism Studio, but I really like the broken brick wall over here. It looks really realistic. Oh, this would look okay. We have battle damage or effects over here. This is not something we see from genuine figure brands. I hope that we get this kind of effect in some figures. Oh, nice. This is fake grass we use in making dioramas. I have some of them in my studio actually. Yeah. Okay. 180 bucks is fine considering the base and the grass looking really well made. This figure would look amazing in a World War II setting diorama. Yeah. Okay, what is the release date? September, I think? June 2025, not too far off. Moving on to the next one, 1x4 scale albedo. We have two of them this week. The first one is by Etopos Studio, $542 for the deluxe version. Regular version is going for $489. $489 and $542. Alright, so I've just take a quick look at the bottom of the page. Regular version is just this figure over here. And deluxe version, you're actually getting real cloth for the outfit, which I would say a big no. I'll take the regular version, yeah. Even though the cloth version indirectly implies that it can be casted off, I'll still go for the painted version, the sculpted version. I dislike real cloth on figures. Moving on to the next one, the second albedo figure over here. Artistic albedo apparently, because this is realistic design, right? Realistic character design, not the anime style. And there are two color versions, black or white. Tough choice, both of them looks really good, but I'm leaning towards the white color a little bit more because of color contrast. I mean, her hair and her wings are already black, so I would like a different color for the outfit. Simple as that. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one. This is also one of the best 1x4 scales this week, together with that Violet Evergarden earlier, Morrigan Insolent from Darkstalkers by Yashishi Studio. So there's a realistic version, anime version, and deluxe version where I'll get everything. Up to $545 for the deluxe one. Great price, right? Because this figure has wings and then it is getting a fabulous base and you're getting two head sculpts, all of that for $545, absolutely. And this is one of those few realistic face figures that actually look good to me. And the anime version with the Ahegao face is even better. So if I were to pick up this, I would go all out. Yeah, unlike the albedo figure where I'll take the regular one, case by case basis. There are not many, if any, third-party figures of Morrigan Insolent at all. I'm a bit surprised by this figure. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next one. This went on pre-order last Saturday after I finished recording last week's episode from Wake Studio. We have Adult Midna from The Legend of Zelda, available in 1x6 scale at $438 or 1x4 scale at $580. I think the obvious choice over here is the 1x4 scale. Like the price difference is a little bit over $100 only. If the 1x6 scale was under $300, then yeah, there is a bit more justification to go for the 1x6. But when the 1x6 is already $400+, might as well top up a bit and go for the 1x4. Yeah. Coming out in September. Okay, moving on to the next one here. This is an early bird pre-order, no price yet, by PJ Studio, licensed figure brand, and they make their own original characters. Okay, so this is original character Emerald and Taekwon Kim Joint Works Omega. Okay, I am predicting this to be around $800. Normally, a PJ Studio figure is around $500 to $600, but with everything, the base and all those three things behind her, yeah, this might be $800, but this is quite the sight to behold. And if you want to know what PJ Studio figures look like, just go to Reddit and check out the pictures. It is so realistic that it can be a little bit scary. Like, it looks too real, yeah. So, if you can afford one, figures by PJ Studio, they are often worth it, right? This is a whole different level from collecting 1x7 scale anime figures. Moving on to the next one, PJ Studio again, licensed figure, Perfectable Huoling I've seen this name many times. $180 because this is a 1x6 scale and quite unusual because all this while 90-95% of figures by PJ Studio, they are all 1x4. This is coming out in December 2025, quite a long wait. And I wonder if this is resin, must be resin. $180 for something this detailed is not bad. Not my kind of figure though. Okay, moving on to the next one here. Wow. I hope that YouTube is okay with this. I mean, all these tech companies, they are very inclusive. They are very pro LGBT. So I hope they are okay with two girls kissing. I mean, make love, not war, right? Okay, Belle, original hypnotized girlfriend Takanashi Iori and Hashimoto Karen, licensed figure apparently. So is this PVC or resin? Must be resin. Okay, the price is not yet confirmed. I just saw that. This is an early bird pre-order. So I think the price is an indication. There is nothing else mentioned here yet in terms of the materials used to make the figure or the release date. If it is $228 for two figures, this might be PVC. If it is more expensive, way more expensive, then it might be resin. Yeah. There are third-party PVC figures now. Okay, man, $228 for both for two figures, right? I'm kind of tempted. I don't have any figures like this yet in my collection. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one. Violet Studio licensed figure and original character Tiffany and Chloe, 1x7 scale. Okay, this must be PVC. 1x7 scale, two figures for $187. This has to be third-party PVC figure, not resin. So do we have any details at the bottom? There we go. Product, material, PVC, and ABS. There. And this figure is cast-offable, by the way. Yeah, both of these are cast-offable and $187 for both. Man! Who doesn't love undressing lollies? Get it, buy it. Moving up next, we have We Are Doing Studio original Sleeping Beauty Sushi Fairies licensed figure. Okay, so it is not 4 sushi pieces for $105, you see. Each of those costs $105. So if you grab all 4 of them, that is $420. What the... We Are Doing Studio is actually doing very well. The Burger Fairies figure, which went viral on my Facebook page, and I got a lot of orders for it. Yeah, the very same studio is behind these 4 figures, and I love their creativity. I love their originality. But this is so expensive. Right? Okay, so this is the size, and it is around the size of a palm, like palm-sized Mega House figure. Around this size? It feels small. It feels small to cost $100 each. The craftsmanship is incredible. The paintwork is incredible. I won't deny that this is a great looking figure. It looks almost too realistic. But I'm not sure if I can justify the price despite that fact. This looks really good. It's making me hungry. Okay, moving on to the next figure over here. From Perfume Studio, we have a figure of Freeman at up to $277. Okay, so 1x8 scale is only starting from $133 for the solid color version, and transparent color version, which I assume is the effect part on the base, for $174, more expensive. 1x6 scale is $238 and $277. Okay. I'm not sure how they expect to sell this thing for up to $277 because, yeah, there are so many good figures of Freeman coming from genuine brands, especially Good Smile and Kotobukiya. This is a little bit hard to sell. Yeah. If I could undress her, that would be a different story. That itself is a motivation, for some people to get it. So a perfectly safe figure like this that cost more than PVC figures but not necessarily better, not easy to sell this one. Moving on to the next one, we have an early bird pre-order of S-Death from Akame ga Kill. She is the villain in the anime and manga, but somehow she is also the most popular character. By Manta Studio, no price, no release date yet. This is a 1x6 scale. For a second, I thought she was pointing a big middle finger, but no, she is just adjusting her barrette in a flashy way. Okay, this is 1x6 scale, so it won't be $999, maybe $299 maximum. Yeah. And I'm factoring in the huge base over there with the effect part. $299 to $349 maybe. And we get a close look at the face. This is the anime style face that we all know. Great. I don't want realistic faces. Moving up next, wow. From Tista Santon Studio, we have Emilia from ReZero, $218 for the, for each. There are two versions over here with two different face expressions. No, Emilia isn't this thick, and Emilia isn't this big in terms of a bust size. This is like taking a figure by Kyo6, those big giant melon figures, and then they stick Emilia's head on it. This is very specific for people with taste towards figures like this, not me, obviously. Moving on to the next one. Okay, we have a very boring looking N Takamaki from Persona 5, right? By Pepe Ho Studio, $194 at 1x4 scale. Okay, I was about to bash this figure so badly, but seeing the price being under $200 at 1x4 scale, I'm starting to forgive the flaws in this figure a little bit more. This is one of those big and cheap figures, but the face looks so wrong. I mean, even if their intention was to convert the figure's anime face into a realistic face, this is a really bad realistic face. She looks bored. She looks tired. Must be being worked to death, like in a typical Japanese corporate company. I mean, look at the face over there. She's like that, you know. No, don't buy it. Even though this is a 1x4, don't buy it. Moving on to the next one, we have only one single Genshin figure this week. Raiden Shogun by Noah Studio, $284 at 1x6 scale, coming out in September 2025. And this is far from the best Raiden Shogun figure I've seen. Not bad looking at all. And her face, no complaints at all. This is what I want to see from third parties, so no, not those realistic cosplayer faces. I mean, I've seen too many Raiden Shogun figures, so this feels a little bit underwhelming. I mean, I'm speaking too fast right now. But otherwise, nothing quite wrong with it. $284 sounds about right for something of this level of detail. Yeah, not castable. Like there are no pictures of her without any clothes on, so I'm gonna assume she is not castable. Moving on to the next one, only one single Honkai style figure this week. Wow, the number of figures from Honkai series are reducing. Maybe these figure companies are saying, yeah, we have enough, too many. So this is Kafka by Luna Studio. Two versions, 1x4 scale, $415 each. And between swimsuit version and Hadaka version, I'll take the swimsuit version. Hadaka version is just skin all over, you know. And I feel like the swimsuit gives the figure more detail to look at, right? I'm a detailed person. As for the face, what do you think? I think it looks okay, like different art style, a little bit different from the Kafka we see in the game, but not a bad looking one. That's what I think. $415 is about right. I think this could be a little bit lower, you know, like between $350 to $400, but this is a 1x4, still acceptable. Just as for the base though, I really hate the base. The base is ugly. There are no other ways to put it. The next figure here, this is my favorite third-party resin figure this week that is not a 1x4. Okay, so this figure of Shimoe Koharu is a 1x7 scale, unfortunately. 1x6 would be better. And $270 if you go for the maximum version with DLC, which is obviously casted off parts. The standard version starts at $151 only, and needless to say, a lot of people are going to like this figure given that what is written on her belly right there. Man, your goal is 15. Man, you're setting a really low bar. 15 is very small. That's what she said. 15 is too small. I like this a lot. Just that, you know, with DLC, 1x7 is a little bit disappointing because resin figure, right? Resin is a more fragile material. So when the figure is bigger, it means that every single part is ever so slightly thicker, including the halo on her head. So they are less likely to break. So ideally, this should have been 1x6 at the bare minimum. Yeah. But I still like the figure a lot, regardless. Okay, moving on to the next one here from Nikkei. We have Modernia by Ane Studio. $255 at 1/6 scale, coming out in June 2025. My question is simple. Do you like the face? This is like a hybrid of both anime style and realistic style. It is not exactly realistic, but partially, I think. Yeah, with Modernia, we have a really good figure by Good Smile coming, I think. Scale figure. Was it Good Smile or Max Factory? With all those, mecha parts. I'm waiting for that one. So, no, I am not going for this one. Even though there is nothing quite wrong with the face and the figure looks quite nice overall. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, we have one single figure from Zenless Zone Zero. Nico Demara in a very plain looking, bikini. Just a swimsuit figure, but at least the price is very reasonable. At 1/6 scale, only $116 coming out in June 2025. So, I mean, you might have pre-ordered the one by Apex Toys, right? But if you want to give resin figures a try, this is a relatively safe purchase, I think. Yeah. But I would still vouch for the one by Alice 21 Studio, even though it is double the price of this one over here. Moving on to the last figure for today, at Alin Studio, we have Changli from Wuthering Waves. Early bird pre-order, and the weirdest part is that I think the figure is not even ready to be revealed yet. But third-party resin figure shops, including OSGK, they jumped the gun. They list the product early in an attempt to get people to pre-order it early, especially those that are desperate for a figure of Changli, maybe, I don't know, because the only pictures we get over here is the head sculpt and the face sculpt. Yeah, anime version looks amazing. Wow, that looks incredible, right? Realistic version is okay. Of course, I prefer the anime version. This is outstanding paintwork, but at the same time, these are the only two pictures we get. We don't even know what the figure looks like. We are getting pictures of the face only. Yeah, only the face sculpt. So many pictures and they're all of her face. I don't know she is standing or sitting or taking a taking a crap in the toilet. I don't know what is the pose or what she will be wearing. But this is indeed very promising. I won't lie. And that is all for figures on pre-order this week. Which one will you get? Let me know down in the comments below. This week is a little bit of the opposite of last week. Last week we had a very good week on the genuine figure side. This week I like the third party side. Yeah. So thanks a lot for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to this channel for anime figure content every week, and I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching and goodbye.